Motivational Shit Podcast 2024. Bro, we got director Huey G. We got a special guest, Rahiem Shabazz. So, hey, man, let's go ahead and get to it, man. Brother, you know, I appreciate you coming on here,
Absolutely.
man.
I am glad to be here, man. Y'all got a beautiful setup, man. Shout out to Lightworker Wayne. Shout out to Yale Entertainment. And the brother right here, director. I've been to a lot of places, and I like the hospitality, man, and I like what y'all got going on, man. So let's get it. Let's go.
Hey, brother,
let's get it, man.
I like what you got going on, man. You know, shout outs to the sister High Heels, man.
Oh yeah, that's the sister.
Yeah, man. I like your whole stance in regards to the black family, the black unit, our people. You know, like I love your messages, man, about it, man, and just everything that you have done and created, and your platform and the discussions that you have, man, it's really profound. So, you know, I felt like, you know, both me and my man Huey felt like, yo, 2024, what does the black family like? What's some going further as we go further to 2030? Because if you ask me, by 2030, the world's going to drastically change.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and we're seeing it. You know, 2020, we had a plandemic. I say plandemic, right? We had a plandemic. You know, the whole world shut down. And then we told, okay, we could go back and congregate amongst each other, you know. We had the whole thing with getting the, you know, people pushing that. And now we seeing artificial intelligence have reached consciousness. They put in artificial intelligence in gas stations. You know what I'm saying? Like, yo, Trip, and they actually have a self-checkout in Quick Trip.
Wow.
You know what I'm saying? A self-checkout at Quick Trip. I'm seeing that in the CVS too. You know, I'm seeing more of that. You know, so it's like, I feel like our people need to upgrade just like a computer software upgrade, you know? So like, man, that's some of my stance. And one thing is, and I'll say this phrase, I feel like our people need to enter the nerd. And when I mean nerd, I'm not talking about, you know, the image of Steve Urkel. I'm not talking. Nerd is normally seen as somebody who knows tech, somebody who knows maybe about space, somebody who knows, if we break it down, somebody who is astute in a particular subject. They know the ins and outs about it.
Absolutely.
And I feel like our people needs to enter that nerd-like mentality, you know, whether you're a nerd when it comes to herbs, a nerd when it comes to computers, a nerd when it comes to mental health. I feel like we need to embrace that whole idea more. And that's just my thoughts. So like, yo, like Huey, man, what you feel like, man?
The future. I don't know. I really don't know where we're going with, like, you know, where it holds. But I do want to hear what. I know he has something for us.
Yeah, absolutely. When you talk about the future, let's just go on what you said.
Okay.
You said it's like it's an upgrade, right?
Yeah.
It's like a computer and an upgrade. In order to upgrade your computer, your tablet, your phone, what do we receive? We receive that we have to download the operating system, right?
Yeah.
So we gotta receive these downloads. You know what I mean? In order to upgrade. How do we receive the downloads? By doing what we do. You know what I mean? Unifying together as one particular individual or one person. You know what I mean? And we do that by what we're doing right now, coming together. So I think with us as black people, we gotta remember that we are the holders and keepers of ourself and responsibility. And the only way we're gonna accomplish anything is once again if we unify We got to unify by receiving those downloads, upgrading our operating system.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And yo, I'm with that too. You know, we definitely got to unify, and you know, it's some things that we gotta correct within ourselves. It's some past ideologies, man. Like you know, the whole thugging in 2024.
Those are viruses. We back with the
Yeah,
computer
yeah.
system. Those are viruses.
Yeah, bars, man.
So when you upgrade this system, right, after you receive that download, you got to get rid of the virus. You know, we got to put antivirus software in our computer, our operating system. You know, which is our mainframe, is our mind and our thought. You know, so once we got this antivirus in it, then it's unstoppable. It can't be penetrated. And what we have to do is we have to you know how you can sync your phone to your computer?
Yeah.
We have to sync ourselves to one another so that we all on one accord, getting back to what? Unity.
Getting back to
you know, and once we have that unity, we got to take the responsibility. And the responsibility is when we all respond to our ability. That's in that word, responsibility. It's another jewel, another download. You know what I mean?
Better receive that.
Yeah.
Yo, you coming out the gate with the bars, man.
Yeah.
Listen, man.
You coming out the gate with the jewels, the gems.
Listen, man, this is motivational shit, right?
Yeah.
I'm here to pop my shit. Let's get it. Let's go.
I did see something too, man, where you said about filmmaking. Kind of skipping a little bit, fast for a little bit, but you were saying like you don't have to go to college, and you know, I just want to tap a little bit into that. I let the piece I heard how you was like starting a business. You don't have to have a degree to start a business.
Not at all.
So that really was you know, it stuck with me. Like, I was listen to him. Like, man, he said something. Then like, what's the starting your own business? Like, what's the motivation behind that? Like working for yourself and getting started.
Well, for me, my particular journey started like this, right? I'm from Harlem, the unruly streets of Harlem, right? So I grew up in a time and environment where we had to be in the streets. You know what I mean? At that time, it didn't seem like it was anything else for us. So I found myself on the wrong side of the law. I was behind enemy lines for a particular period of time, 6 years. And in there, you know, I had to go through a transformation, you know. If not, I would have came out on the same bullshit. So I transformed myself, my mind. I went to college, and I conditioned myself, you know what I mean? Because I was a boss before I went in. You know what I mean? So now I wanted to be a different type of boss when I came out. So that's when I got into entrepreneurship, you know, being your own boss. And I started in filmmaking. I started in journalism. I knew that I had to be in a particular field where that my past wasn't going to dictate what my future was going to look like. You know what I mean? And being your own boss, ain't nobody telling you what to do. I ain't got to tell you that, yeah, I got a criminal history or a background. So that's my journey into becoming an entrepreneur. And, you know, being an entrepreneur is not for everybody. You know what I mean? But we living in a day and time where, and it's good, you know, people are bossing up, you know what I mean? No one doesn't want to do the traditional 9 to 5 because we've seen it with the pandemic. You know what I mean? Like, if you didn't do what they told you to do, you didn't have a job.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? And a lot of people were seeing that, yo, listen, I've been working 15, 20 years. I never traveled. I haven't been able to live. You know, my life is in limbo. And they got rid of a lot of people's jobs. There's no more customer service. You call these companies, you speaking to somebody overseas that's sitting in their house and you hear kids in the background. So we living in a particular different time. And what I tell people, you know, growing up, you know, it was all about brick and mortar, right? You want to start a business, you needed a storefront. It's no more about brick and mortar. It's click and order. You know what I mean? And you
say that again.
It's click and order, and it ain't brick and mortar. So you could be in the Cayman Island on the beach with a beautiful young lady, and your e-commerce store is still rocking and popping. You know what I mean? 24 hours a day. You could be anywhere in the world. So we gotta adapt. We gotta get into that mindset. When I was coming up, it wasn't none of that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's either how big you say you sling rocks or you got a wicked jump shot. And guess what? I ain't had the jump shot, so you know what I did. You know, but we don't have to think like that. You know what I mean? I tell people I didn't go to school for filmmaking. I had a lot of haters around me that didn't want to teach me. You know what I mean? And these was individuals I used to pay. You know what I mean? And one particular individual, he told me, he said, "You think I'm gonna teach you this? So you don't have to pay me no more?" And I thought that was the most selfless shit someone could tell somebody.
Yeah.
So I went to, instead of going to Yale University, I went to YouTube University. And I began to look at these videos and I began to study it. And you know, I developed my skill set. And now I'm one of the coldest ones on the planet. Let me tell it.
Exactly.
You know?
When you say, you said that some people, it's not for everybody, right? It's, being an entrepreneur.
Yeah. Somebody
what should they do?
So somebody got to get the fries.
A lot of people talk about that.
Somebody got to be on. You know, somebody's on fries. We got somebody on hamburgers. And, you know, so
somebody got to do the Phillies.
This is the thing, right? In order to have your a business, now I'm not talking about a solopreneur. I'm talking about a business where people are relying on you to make payroll every Friday, right? So what are you? You're a CEO. You're a leader. Everybody ain't fit to lead. You know what I mean? Like, what are you going to do in leadership position when you have to make a critical decision, and this decision is going to either sink your business or upscale your business? You know, some people panic.
They fold.
And they fold, you know? So everybody can't be a leader. Everybody, you know, can't be an entrepreneur. But to a degree, right? You can be an entrepreneur within your own right just by having a trade. You know what I mean? So anybody with a trade could be an entrepreneur. You know, if you can be a plumber, electrician, a mechanic, cybersecurity, and a lot of this 6 months to get a cybersecurity certification for the first level, and then you go on from there. So if you got a trade or a skill, you could be an entrepreneur. So I want to take that back. Anybody with a trade or skill could be an entrepreneur, and you're able to follow directions. You're able to constantly think. Yeah, you could be an entrepreneur, but a lot of people are not thinking. And what people don't realize is, right, and this is no disrespect to people that have a traditional 9-to-5, right, is that your boss is never gonna pay you enough money for you to become his neighbor.
That's true.
So
that's a bar.
If you aspire to live in a house like the person that runs the company that you're working for, or to drive the car that the person that you're working for, you better go get another job, because he's not going to pay you enough to be his next door neighbor. And once you learn certain things like that, and then you learn how things are marketed and how the dominant society wants you to be a part of the working class, then, you know, you got to figure out a way where, look, I don't want to be a part of the working class. You know what I mean? I want to be in a position of power. And having the power is when you're an entrepreneur, is that you buy your time. You know what I mean? Like, most entrepreneurs don't make an exorbitant amount of money, but guess what? I can take 2 weeks off right now if I wanted to, and go anywhere in the world and just chill out, and ain't got to answer to nobody. You know what I mean? And come back and resume business as normal. Most people can't do that.
So how do you tell the person that think they're a leader, right, but you say they're not? How do you tell them, hey, you really need to fall in, without them offending them, like, hey, that's not for you?
Oh, well, it ain't really my position to tell them that. It's a gift, right? Is something that's given. A skill is something that's acquired. You know what I mean? So if you got the skill, ain't nothing I can tell you, you know what I mean, that can downgrade your skill. You got to have the skill and the confidence. You know what I mean? And like I said, a gift is something someone gives to you. You know what I mean? Someone gave you a job. They can take away that job. But if you give yourself the skill sets, ain't no one could take that away from you.
It's true. And two, it's something that you said too, man, Rahiem Shabazz, like when you was talking about trade in school and us being our own boss and going back to what I believe the black family needs to look for and focus in 2024 is when we be our own entrepreneurs, we got to build our own platforms. Like, we all heard here, Tiaji, Monique talk about how Hollywood is not paying them the same amount as their white counterparts and this and that. And it was a point, right? It was a point that Boyce Waskins was speaking about, man. And I really agree with that. That's their table. And I don't agree with them not getting paid right. Yes, they should get paid right. But at the same time, they built that table. That's their table. When are we going to take some of those resources and build our own table? That way we could dictate, and we could have the power. Instead of begging for crumbs at a table, we build our own shit.
Absolutely.
And like that's one thing that I'm, mainly kind of focused on, because we could keep on complaining about, our white counterparts ain't doing us good, this and that, this race ain't doing us this and that, blah, blah, blah. And we're going to keep complaining until we take the action to build our own shit.
That's right.
We always talk about digging in the mud, and we the best people for it. We have made so much things. Our ancestors have created, from peanut butter to the water gun to the traffic light. It's in our DNA.
That's right.
We could build our own shit, man. It's just we have to get more into the group economics and group thinking.
You know what the problem is, though, right? This is the problem. A lot of our people believe that the white man ice is colder.
That's right. Yeah.
And we have to overcome that, right?
Yeah.
Case in point, 50 Cent has been online reaching out to Taraji, and he told her, I gave Mary J. Blige the bag. I got that bag over here. Come over here. Did you see that? Have y'all seen that?
I've been seeing it.
Have she yet to answer 50 Cent? You know what I mean?
Okay.
So there's a black man that has a proven success. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
He's not trolling. He's telling her, like, remember Power and Empire was
Power
neck and neck, and he was taking shots and this, that, and the other.
I remember that.
But that's over with. That contract expired. You know what I mean? And he's telling her, yo, let's come over here. This is the winning team. But I don't know what her situation is, but I'm just speaking in black people in general, that they'll rather, go to the white man because they believe his ice is colder. You know what I mean? Color Purple, she had problems on that set. You know what I mean? I don't know all the executive producers, but I do know Oprah was a part of that. You know what I mean? So even when we do have black people in positions of power, if they're part of that system, then we ain't gonna get our just due. Now, she did say, you know what I mean, how you say her name again? Taraji came to her with certain concerns, and immediately she addressed them. But in the end, she gave them interviews, and she said, she wasn't getting paid her worth. And I'm sure between her, the young lady that sings, I'm bad with names. What's the young lady that sings?
Which one?
Fantasia.
Okay.
And then it's another one. There's three of them, right? That's like the main characters in the Color Purple. If all of them was to pool their resources together, right? They already have star power, right?
Yeah.
And get a young producer, director named Rahiem Shabazz, or my brother Huey over here. You know what I mean? Y'all got the money.
Yeah.
Now we back to skill sets.
Yeah.
Let's make it happen.
Back
you know
to
what I
the
mean?
Trades.
Yeah.
Skills.
So you don't have to go outside. You know what I mean? Listen, man, black culture moves the needle.
It do. It do.
And we are the box office. That first week sale, we can determine the success or failure of a film. And like I said, man, we have to overcome that. That the white man ice is colder, and stop giving these people our content. You know, Tubi,
Yeah,
is
yeah.
owned by Fox News.
I didn't know
I
that.
never knew that.
Tubi is owned by Fox News.
Them
I never knew that.
racist, them racist white wings on Tubi, right? And they giving out all the content. Like, listen, I'm not gonna lie though. I know some people right now, right? They said, "Rob, why you ain't putting your documentaries on Tubi?" I'm like, "How do you do it?" So they was like, "Yo, I can walk you through it, and you can get it on there." And I seen in real time what them quarterly earnings look like. I'm like, "Yo, you made that much?" And it's
people tapping into Tubi.
Yeah, but everything on there, 85% of it is black content.
It is black content.
And we need to do that.
Let me ask this though. What type of content is it?
It's
come on,
it's
brother.
Not all of it. Not all of it.
What's the percentage?
I don't know the percentage, but what I will say is the stuff that's in the algorithm that gets highlighted is B-list movie that primarily deals with drug dealing and killing.
See what I'm saying? And now that circles back around that it's owned by Fox, and Fox is not necessarily presenting us in the best light, and this is what we're now feeding to the family.
Yeah.
The families watch these.
But imagine if we had it, right?
Right.
And we was putting documentaries on there.
Yeah.
Elementary genocide.
Yeah.
Right? School to prison pipeline. The Board of Education versus the Board of Incarceration. Academic Holocaust. Because listen, I said it once again. Black culture moves the needle. So if we had that type of platform, we can change that algorithm where those type of movies don't show up, and movies that have our best interests at heart, do show up. And listen, I'm not against all the gangster movies, this, that, and the other. I just feel it just needs to be a balance. You know what I mean?
It needs to be a balance.
Listen,
Entertainment.
You ain't gonna tell me Boys in the Hood was a bad movie. You ain't gonna tell me
Paid in Full.
New Jack City Paid in Full
was the Belly, man. Belly's my shit, man.
Yeah, Belly. and you said Paid in Full, right? I live right around the corner. I grew up right around the corner in Harlem from that. Darnell, Richard Porter's brother, who got his finger cut off, he was in my little brother's class. You know what I mean? During that time. So I lived through that moment. That's real. So yeah. You know what I mean? So a lot of people look at it as a drug gangster movie, but nah, that's like almost an autobiography. You know what I mean? What's happening in Harlem in the late 90s. The late 80s, early 90s. In that particular time. Yeah.
Yeah.
So we really just gotta stop thinking the grass is greener. The grass is greener wherever you water.
Mm-hmm.
You mentioned you mentioned the elementary genocide. Let's talk about that.
All right, elementary genocide is a film that I did when I was incarcerated. Right, I had graduated at the top 5% of my class. Right, I had graduated 13 days before I was released. Right, and in order to graduate, we had to do a paper, and it had to be for a nonprofit that we was going to establish, right? Like a program. And my particular one was to help at-risk youth, right? And I began to study and do research for this particular paper. And then I realized that 85% of the crime that was being committed in the 5 boroughs was coming from small neighborhood. You know what I mean? 75% of the crime was coming from these particular neighborhoods. I began to look at these neighborhoods. I began to see that the reading level, you know what I mean, was 3rd and 4th grade, right? So going deeper down the rabbit hole, began to realize that there's a 75% chance that if you're reading below grade level, the 3rd and 4th grade, that you was going to end up in prison. So you have these companies and private prisons, right, that sells cell blocks and sells as stock, right, in companies, because if you're not reading on grade level when you're in the 3rd or 4th grade, there's a 75% chance that you're going to end up in prison. So if I know that, right, I can predict 10 and 15 years in advance how many prison cells we need.
Yeah.
So I can go and sit in a board meeting, right, and crunch these numbers and say, listen, we need 1.5 million new cells in the next 20 to 30 years, right? And each prisoner is going to take us $60,000 a year to house them. Who wants to invest, right? And guess what? Everybody gonna raise their hand. So this is and guess what?
Yeah.
They have certain policies in place, right? The way that they teach Black children, right? It's called the school to prison pipeline, but it begins, right? Not in the 3rd or 4th grade, right? I found this out after I did the documentary, but from the first time a child enters the kindergarten class. So that was my first documentary. That documentary, like, it took off like wildfire. A lot of people discredited, was like, this can't be true. This cannot happen. Like, where do you get your information from? And you know, I was going on tour and I was, you know, dispersing the information. And then people didn't take me serious until good old Barry. Y'all know who Barry is? Barack Obama.
Oh.
In his first State of the Union speech, where he mentioned the word school to prison pipeline. And everybody was like, oh, this is a real thing. You know what I mean? And they went back like, yo, he mentioned your documentary. Now, I never coined the term school to prison pipeline, right? I just popularized it.
Gotcha.
You know what I mean? Yeah. You have individuals like Dr. Kwanzaa Kunjufu. He was talking about this in the early 80s, you know? So we have to listen and go back to our grandmaster teachers and was telling us, and he was predicting what was going to happen, and everything he said was going to happen actually happened. So that was the first one, right? I did that, seen the success of that, and me touring the country, a lot of people will come up to me and they say, you know, you primarily focus on males. What about women and females? You know, do you know the percentage of them? And I began to find out that, you know, there was almost an 80% increase in the last 30 years of the incarceration of Black women. So I wanted to focus on that. So what I did was I said, all right, we're going to go back to the landmark ruling of Brown versus Board of Education, the 1954 ruling. And we're going to ask the proverbial question, has education done us more harm? Not education, integration done us more harm than good? And we know it done us more harm.
Yeah.
You know, Dr. Martin Luther King, his birthday is when? Monday, right?
Yeah.
They celebrating it. Dr. Martin Luther King said, you know, that he felt that he integrated his people into a burning house. So we know integration wasn't good. Yeah. You know what I mean? So I went back to that and I brought it up to date. That was the second documentary. And then the third documentary was Academic Holocaust. And in that documentary, I wanted to show that the stagnation of your mind, the stagnation of your critical thinking through miseducation, through believing that the white man ice is colder, that the grass is greener on the other side, stagnates you as a people, right? And that's why I call it academic holocaust. You know what I mean? And because we're the only people, like Malcolm X said, that allow our open enemy to what? Educate our children.
To educate our children.
Yeah. I know I get a little long with it. I'm sorry, man. I just get passionate about it, man.
Hey, I feel you, man. Hey, I work in the industry with kids. I mentor a lot of kids. And like even kids that's in the correctional facilities, right? Like, man, some of those kids is in there because they smoking 10 blunts, 15 blunts. Some of them not reading on the reading level. And I'm saying us going further as far as the Black family, like we got to get creative to where, like, you know, because you're right about if the kid doesn't know how to read, it more opens up the gate towards that kid going into the prison system. So like we got to get creative, man. You know, like I don't know, we need to have Cat Williams teaching high school kids.
Well, you know if you do, they're gonna get the truth. Unadulterated truth. And you know what? That's what kids respect, and that's what they need. You know, I have a saying that kids are not going to respect you until they know that you care about them.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? Like,
that's true.
I go into the prisons all the time. Like Rice Street, that was like almost a second home to me until the pandemic came. They begged me to come back, you know, and I still get calls to this day to come back. There's a brother right now. He has a program that he has implemented in there. Sometimes I go with him in there. Sometimes I go by myself in there. But in those prisons, right, you see people from all walks of life. You know what I mean?
Is this the correct cover, brother? I didn't mean to cut you off.
Yeah, that's the correct one for the first one. And when I go in there and I speak to them, I use my life and my story as a cautionary tale. You know what I mean? Because I was right there. A lot of times you have people that go into these prisons, right, and try to talk to these kids, and they don't have no skin in the game.
Yeah,
they're not cut from the same cloth. You know, and I think what separated me from everybody else, right? Although I was a part of the underground and the criminal element, I knew how to read. I knew how to write. I wasn't stupid. You know what I mean? I was just making stupid decisions. You know what I mean? I can't tell you the amount of times, man, I was pulled to the side like, yo, what you doing, man? You smarter than that. You know what I mean? Yeah, but being smart ain't got me this new BMW. Being smart ain't get me this, you know, the jury, the women, the reputation, you know what I mean? But I didn't have to do what I had to do, you know what I mean? And I think using my brain and being smart, I was able to figure a way out. You know what I mean? I had people show me, but I was able to figure it out. And that's all these kids need. It's like someone to help and guide them and to figure it out. Like I had someone call me the other day, right? In despair. They crashed their car. They was getting ready to do something stupid because they paid cash for their car after I told them don't do that. I was like, don't do that. Oh, I got the money. And this is someone that's in the streets. Paid cash for his car. Now it's crashed. And I said, you have full insurance like I told you, right? He said, yeah. I said, all right, you're going to get another car. He said, how I'm going to do that? So I had to explain to him what the insurance company is going to do. I was like, don't call them. Go online, send them the picture, and they're going to send someone to do an estimate.
Yeah.
And he got $2,000 less than what he had for his car. And now he got a better car. Now he got the 2022 BMW truck. I'm like, look at you. You driving a better car than me now. And you called me in despair, like, yo, calm down. We're going to figure it out. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So a lot of times, man, and he's young too. You know, young dude, he's 1 foot in the street, 1 feet out. And I'm trying to get him out. I'm trying to get that one leg out.
The one leg out.
And it's just that, yo, he needs directions. You know what I mean? And when I figured it out, I was like, you know, when he called me, showed me pictures, posted all on his Instagram of his brand new car. I'm like, now, did we not figure it out? You know what I mean? But I could imagine at that age, I probably wouldn't have been able to figure it out. You know what I mean? Because I wasn't exercising my brain power. You know what I mean? And that's one of the things, man. You got to exercise your brain power. You have to be in a conducive environment in order to do that. You know what I mean? So there's elements and levels to it.
Yeah.
But that's what we have to do, man, to get back to your question and to answer it. You know, what it looks like for Black families in 2024 is figuring it out. And helping others figure it out. You know what I mean? Because, listen, ain't not one of us, there's someone that's the smartest one in the room. But together, you know what I mean, we could be the smartest one in the world.
Exactly.
So we got to look outside the room and think globally, and we have to prepare ourselves. You know what I mean? Now, I think you said what it's going to look like for Black families in 2030.
Yeah, 2030, because I mean, you know, I'm seeing all with this. Okay, they got the AI little robot up in New York. You know what I'm saying? The little dog robot, right? They have it more AIs. I mean, we got Chat GPT, which is a big ass help.
Yeah,
for me on work. You
got
know,
food delivery. The robot food delivery. All that.
I seen that.
Yeah. So I'm saying the way I'm seeing it, right? We're getting more in the future, but our people still need to prepare our mindset for the future.
Yeah.
It's still some some viruses, just like you said, that we have, killing each other, listening to music, talking about killing each other. Like, that's backwards as hell. You never catch no Jewish or no Asian or no Indian doing that.
None.
So, like, we need to level up in some things. So, yeah.
Can I ask you a question? I'm gonna ask both of y'all a question, right?
Yeah.
Because I know when we speak, we say we as a people and our people, right? Y'all not making it inclusive of all black people, right?
I was talking. I was.
All right. I think that's the problem. Trying to save all black people, and I think that's what frustrates people that do a lot of community work. It seems like it's harder than what it should be because everybody is not this, that, and the other. Yo, let me tell you, man.
Bro, that's the point.
Yo, you only need a few people. Like, yo, 300 black men, right, could start a whole movement. I'm talking about that can be the world over. Like, and guess what? More people are gonna come and gravitate towards it, but you only need a few people. And you know how they say, many shall come, only a few should be chosen. The ones that's chosen, the ones that chose themselves. Yo, we don't need everybody. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know if I can say that on here. Well, this is motivation. When the revolution starts, the first 10,000 bullets might have to be for our own people. You know what I mean? Like, because that is against what we really trying to do. You know what I mean? Liberating our people. You know what I mean? Having freedom, justice, and equality. Being able to teach our own. You know what I mean? To live amongst ourselves. If that's what we said we want. You know what I mean? So it's not going to be everybody. You know what I mean? And it just starts with a few. And I think that's what frustrates it. And it seems like we're not doing nothing. You know, and like the thing you sent me, the quote, where what's the name said, F the black community. Yeah. You know, the black community is not doing what they supposed to do.
Yeah, when Charleston White said that.
And because he's looking at it as a whole. Nah. You know what I mean? It's not like that. Like, I'm not, if you do mentorship, right, to youth, right?
Yeah.
I'm not going to look to the black community to save this youth. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to come bring them to Light Worker Wayne. You know what I mean? He has a program that's impacting black youth. You know, another black youth, yo, I want to be a director. I'm going to bring him over to Huey. Yo, here's a brother that looks like you. You know what I mean? That comes from the same environment as you, that has a skill set. He's going to show it to you. And you ain't got to pay $100,000 to no school that's going to give you a certificate that's only going to teach you who's the father of silent film. It's not going to teach you hands-on experience. Yo, listen, I had people refer individuals to me, right? And I'll bring them on set, and they dumb it in a box of rocks. I'm like, yo, they said you went to school for this, man. But you find out he know who the white man is. That's the father of silent film. But you don't know about John Singleton. You don't know about Spike Lee. You know what I mean? You need to watch the greats. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that's pretty much what it is, man.
Yeah.
I do need to take that consideration, bro, because I be putting on the cake, man.
No, we all do it.
Like,
and I catch myself at times.
Yeah,
we all do it because we want us as a people to succeed, right? And we will. But we just can't think that it's going to be a lot of us. You know what I mean? That started out. It's only going to be a few. And guess what? It could start with us, 1, 2, 3, 4. All right. Us 4 black men in this room. And we have one young lady. Shout out to Marcy.
Hey, shout outs. Hey, definitely shout out.
Yeah. So it could just be those that's in this room. We can come together with a comprehensive plan. You know what I mean? And actually, the plan is already set. Y'all 3 sat down and said, you know what? We want to do a podcast that's called Motivational Shit that's going to motivate the masses of people. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
So it already started, you know? And ain't nothing nobody can do, you know, but follow suit.
Follow suit. Yo, I want to get your opinion. I want to get your opinion about this clip, man. You know.
Okay, let's get it. Let's go.
Let's get it.
Doesn't want to do anything about it because it's a cash cow. These people are making money off of these things, and you can name the person, name the so-called black leader. The black leader gets rich. The black leader, just like Black Lives Matter, they become rich. They get to live in big mansions. And where do they get their mansions? Right around the same white people that they claim they're supposed to hate. Think about it this way. I'm old. We've heard of this thing called white flight. Never heard of black flight. What would that be? Blacks running away from white people. Instead, blacks will brag upon when they get money, where do they want to live? Me, Jesse, I've got to tell you, I live in a white neighborhood, and white people are always on my ring talking about a missing dog, something like that, and I'm thinking, my goodness, why don't these white people go to sleep? But I don't have to worry about them doing anything to me, because it's sad that we as black people understand that the biggest fear we have is other black people. I have a movie called A Fatherless America. It chronicles exactly what you said, that single motherhood is the #1 cause of a lot of things in the black community, including crime, and yet the liberals who claim that they want to end crime and make you safer won't talk about that.
Yeah, so Sharpton doesn't want to talk about any of that. He wants to talk about DEI going away. Because what happens, Sotomayor, if DEI doesn't want to do anything about it?
Because it's a cash cow. These people are making money off of these things, and you can name the person, name the so-called black leader. The black leader gets rich. The black leader, just like Black Lives Matter, they become rich. They get to live in big mansions. And where do they get their mansions? Right around the same white people that they claim they're supposed to hate. Think about it this way. I'm old. We've heard of this thing called white flight. Never heard of black flight.
Okay, that was the handkerchief head Negro, the Queen, Tommy Sotomayor. Being real disrespectful to black society. But you know what? He did make some good points, and that is a lot to unpack there, right? It said something about Al Sharpton wanting to revive DEI. That's for
diversity, equality, inclusion.
Right, inclusion, right? Yeah. A lot what he's saying pertains to Al Sharpton, right? Several years ago, Al Sharpton did, I think it was a birthday party, right? It was like a milestone for him. I don't know what age it was he was turning, but he did a big birthday party, and it was held at a prestigious hotel in downtown Manhattan. And on that flyer had about at least 25 corporate 500 companies, like American Express, McDonald's. This is who's sponsoring him, right?
Exactly.
So that's how out of touch he is from the people.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It wasn't the people sponsoring. You had corporate interests. So we know what side he's on, right? So we get that out of the way, right? Now, when he's talking about black flight, we do have that with certain celebrities and different things like that, right?
Yeah.
Once again, the white man ice is colder. And he's talking about his particular reality. I think Tommy Sotomayor, one time he was living in Arizona, right? That might be his reality in that white neighborhood, in that enclave that he live in. They not overtly racist towards him, right? And on his ring cam, he probably do see that, right?
Yeah.
But try to join one of their organizations. You know what I mean? Try to be the you know how they have the HOA? Try to become the president of the HOA and see how them white folks react to you there. You know what I mean? So, until you do something, you know what I mean, where you exert yourself, you know what I mean, then you'll see the racism out of them. And
then you'll see the racism.
It's just so much, to with this individual. What was he hoping to gain by going on Fox News? You know what I mean? These are people that's diametrically opposed to anything that deals with progress in black people.
Yeah, anything melanated.
Yeah, and you take your ass on there and say some nonsense like that. So it's just like, and as far as the diversity and all of that, they give it to you, they could take it away. You know what I mean? We need to start having a seat at our own table and trying to have theirs. Like, remember Tyler Perry? He gave that infamous speech where he said, "Yo, y'all want to sit at the table? I'm building my own table."
Exactly.
And then he brought the armory where black soldiers couldn't even come on, and it was Confederate soldiers on that. He owns that now. You know, that is what we need to do instead of arguing about diversity and not being admitted into this school or that school. So, but yeah, Tommy Sotomayor and you know, talking about white flight and blacks, and it's unfortunate though that you do have individuals that reach a certain status in mainstream society that forget where they come from.
Yeah.
And listen, I get it, right? Don't think for one instance,
what is
right?
Fort McPherson? That's what
he bought Tyler Perry bought the
Oh,
Fort McPherson.
That's what it's called. Yeah.
Don't think for 1 minute, right, that if I get $1 million, right, I'm still living in the same place where I'm living. You know, I Not only did my income bracket change, but my zip code gonna change, right?
Yeah.
But there is black enclaves where it's black millionaires that live there, you know. So you have a choice today, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So you don't have to live amongst white people, you know what I mean? That's his desire. Not only do he live amongst white people, though, you know, he has white girlfriends too, right?
Yeah.
So it ain't just a thing of you wanting to be what you perceive as a safe environment. No, you want close proximity to whiteness.
And that's what Dr. Umar actually made.
Snow bunny hopping.
When Dr. Umar was talking about that. And see, like, people think he's racist. No, I don't think that. He's providing a perspective. Like, our people, we always put other people first in other groups. And yes, me as a light worker, my belief, and I always say this, I believe in Martin Luther King's vision as a light worker. Yes. As a world consciousness, yes, people of all different colors, creed, berry coming together. But reality, we're a fucking long way. We are a long way before we get to that. And I believe what has to happen is us forming our own groups, us repairing some of the damage that we dealt with because due to bad programming, still some of the damage from slavery,
interracial trauma, generational trauma.
Exactly. Us repairing all that, us growing our own economics. That's when we grow our own economics in our own system. Maybe then the Chinese might be like, okay, I respect what you're doing, this and that. Maybe we could build trade and then slowly build relationships.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? So that's how I view it. So when Dr. Umar is saying that we need to prioritize our own women, I get that, because he's talking about putting your reflection first. And yes, love doesn't have a color. That's true. But you can still find, I could still find, and I have a hipster black woman that's into alternative stuff, and we could watch anime and look at cartoons. You know, I could still find that. I don't need to necessarily get a white woman for that. You feel me?
Don't.
Exactly.
You know, my father told me when I was young, if she can't use your comb, don't bring her home. and you know, I grew up with that philosophy, and that's what it is, and that's what it's always going to be with me. You know, I'm just not going to do it. It's nothing like a black woman.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
Exactly.
It's nothing like, you know, the culture, the food.
Yeah.
You know, it's I ain't gotta explain. You know what it is. You know
hey, the culture, the food, the swag.
Someone that is non-black wouldn't understand. You know what I mean? Well, why you just can't? Humans is humans. And no, ain't nothing like being black.
What?
When you're black, that's the best of the best.
Well, you know what? I disagree with that, because those white boys, they sure be seeking those sisters out. When I see a lot of white boys, bro, I see them with bad sisters.
They be living out their fantasy.
Yeah.
They be living out their fantasy. They be cosplaying with them. They probably call them the N-word. And they better be careful they don't get found dead in Brad's cellar. Let me stop, man. Man.
Dead in Brad's cellar, man.
Because you know what? this is my thing. I'm not one to go out of my way and look unfavorable upon somebody because they're in an interracial relationship, right?
Yeah.
Because you got to go home to her every night, or she got to go home to you every night. That's your business.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But me personally, I'm always choose black. You know what I mean? I'm always bet on black no matter what. You know, and that's a personal thing, and it goes beyond that, right? Because you mentioned Dr. Umar. He gives a great analogy of when you marry outside of your race, especially if you're someone of prominence and have an exorbitant amount of money. Exactly. That money leaves the community.
I got to ask you, what's your opinion on Dr. Umar Johnson? You know, he's kind of polarized.
All right, well,
so you know, I got to ask you.
I got to
you know why I ask.
Yeah, I got to get you the documentary. You posted up the cover. I don't know if you've seen it. Dr. Umar's in the first and the second documentary.
Exactly. So you have a personal relationship with him, or basically a close maybe knowing of him.
Yeah. Last time I seen him August. He was here in Atlanta, and we chopped it up briefly while he was here. He was at the Marcus Garvey Day celebration. Right. Dr. Umar is cool, man. You know what I mean? He's cool. He's all right with me. You know. As far I will tell you this, you know, I'm not an individual that looks at a person like personal flaws, you know what I mean? Yeah. But when you talk about the school to prison pipeline, ain't nobody cold with that subject more than him. Right? You know, you talking about you know, being Pan-African you know what I mean? Now when people want to go outside of that, and you know what I think personally about him, you know, I don't know what that man do in his personal life, you know what I mean? But when he get on YouTube, you know what I mean, and he talk that talk, oh yeah, I rock with him. You know what I mean? Now, some people, you know, they want to know where the school at.
There you go. I think
that's what he want to know. He
No. I'm a fan of Dr. Umar. Okay. You know what I'm saying? I'm saying this because we got listeners who might not be so much of a fan of his. Yeah. You asked earlier who's a fan of a certain person, and I said I might not be a fan of somebody just because they may say some good things and some bad things that may not have a view of what you think of that person. So let's relate the same kind of vision on Umar, where some people may say, "Hey, well, I don't like," because since they don't like the one thing about this person, they don't like nothing about him, and they can't see the good in whatever else he's doing because he ain't produced the school. See what I'm saying?
I would tell you
I will buy into about 85 to 90% of what Umar says.
Yeah, I would tell you one thing that I fundamentally disagree with him. Right? I'm not gonna get into all of it, you know what I mean? But one day, I'm gonna pull him to the side and I want to have a conversation with him. You know what I mean? But every time I see him, you could just imagine there's a line going this way and a line going that way. Exactly. They want autographs. Yeah. These people want to speak to him. This line over here want pictures. So it's always a brief interaction. You know what I mean? But man, when he talk about reparations for Foundation Black Americans, I don't like his stance on it. I don't agree with none of that he's talking about. You know what I mean? Because when I think of reparations, right? You have in the Caribbeans and Africa, they got what is called CONCAM, something like that. Yeah. And that's for the British and France that enslaved them over there. When we talk about foundational Black Americans, we're talking about those that can trace their lineage back to 1870. You know what I mean? That people are from the United States. You know what I mean? That you had parents or grandparents. You know what I mean? That your lineage can be traced back to there. And he doesn't believe in that. And he you know, like most people, they saying that, oh, reparation is a pipe dream. People never thought slavery. Just think about those that was enslaved. They never thought it was to be a day that slavery would end, and that there would be a Black man that would be the commander in chief of the United States. The same way people feel about reparations. We might not see it, but guess what? The next generation might see it. You know what I mean? We have to fight that fight for them. You know, there's a Black woman named Callie House, right? She had what they call the ex-slave pension. It was called the Ex-Slave Pension and Mutual Fund, right? You know how long ago that was? That was in the 1800s. right? She had a petition, and she was fighting for reparations. Look up Callie House and look what the United States did to her and the things that they was doing, because this one black woman was fighting that good fight for reparations. You know, there's so many other people, but his stance on reparation, getting back to it, I fundamentally don't agree with. You know what I mean? And I seen him give a speech where he said he was really like going in on people that's pushing for the reparation movement.
Yeah.
And his whole thing was black people shouldn't get reparations because they're gonna squander their money, right? When the Japanese got reparations for being in internment camps, right? Ain't nobody said nothing about where they should spend their money. When the Jews get reparations, when the Mexicans get reparations, and every other ethnic group, nobody's concerned what they're going to do with their money, right?
What they're going to do with the money.
And he said, this is the reason why black people shouldn't get reparations. But these are the same black people, right, that you asking for money to build your school. These are the same black people that gave you donations and money that amassed to the tune of a couple of $1 million now that you got a school. So there are those amongst us that know what to do with our money. You know what I mean? Yeah. You know how many people built businesses and started companies that got that PPP loan?
Yeah.
So there's those amongst us like, listen, of course there's going to be people that squander their money. You know what I mean? Of course, people gonna buy stuff that they don't necessarily need. We do that when we don't have money.
Yeah,
but that don't mean that we're not deserving of that money. So when he talked that talk, man, I'm like, bro, what are you doing? So if we don't deserve it, who deserves it? So that's the only thing I probably won't agree with him on. And anybody that is fundamentally against the reparation movement for Foundation Black American, oh yeah, I have a real problem with that. Because I'm a reparationist that's on the front line. Actually, I spoke at the Foundation Black Americans reparations rally. It wasn't a march, it was a rally in DC. You know, and you could check that out on YouTube. You know, that was a monumental moment that will forever be etched in my mind and in the history books. So,
what advice you got for the young up and coming filmmakers, man? Like, cause it's, you know, as you know, it's a journey, like editing and sound, and it can be a lot if you don't, you know what I'm saying? What advice you can give for people who trying to do it by themselves, independently, out their pocket, and just trying to make it happen with visions?
Get you a cell phone that shoots in 4K, which is just about every and any headphones. It ain't got to be 4K. It could be 1080. That's HD. And sound. You know, sound is like a third person. You know what I mean? It's like what they say. Sound is, I'm probably messing the quote up, but sound is very, very important. You know what I mean? Because you can have good picture but bad audio, and that'll ruin everything.
Yeah, they ain't gonna like it.
So you get that, and you tell your story. You know what I mean? Like everybody has a story to tell. Everybody has been through something in life. You know what I mean? Tell your story, tell your journey, because what they say that if the hunter does not tell his story, the lion is always the victor. So you have to tell your story because somebody else is gonna tell it. You know what I mean? They have a movie coming out now about I think it's the Mansa Musa movie, right? Okay. But it ain't being made by us. You know what I mean? Boom. So when you have historical figures, you know, we have to make those movies. You know what I mean? Because especially because as being melanated people, right? It's gonna resonate with us. It's certain things that the way that we write it, you know what I mean? The way that we enact it is gonna be totally different if someone else from outside come in and do it. And it ain't got nothing to do with being prejudiced or nothing like that. But it's just us. And this is the thing, right? It's not like you need outside forces to do this. You know what I mean? Like if it was a situation where it was a time where the only way you was ever gonna get a movie made if you go to them. that time no longer exists.
Yeah,
So
that's
what's
right.
the excuse?
Exactly.
You know, going to film school, there's a website, right? And I shouldn't even tell y'all this, but I'm gonna tell y'all this. This is the website, right? This is the jewel. It's called No Film School. If you go to that website, you can learn so much on it, right? No Film School. And the website is as simple as that. No Film School. I learned how to color correct. I learned how to do parallel effects on there. You know what I mean? Like when I tell you I'm one of the coldest editors, it ain't because I went to film school. I went to No Film School. That's online, nofilmschool.com, YouTube University, and a lot of it is trial and error. So that's what I would tell these young filmmakers, because they are individuals. NYU, they say they got the best film program in the world. Go there if you want to, and they're gonna teach you about silent film and who's the father of silent film, and they're gonna teach you about camera movement. Don't break the 180 degree. It was the 180 degree rule and all of this, that, and the other. Listen, man, rules are made to be broken, man. How does it look to you? You know what I mean? Is it aesthetically? Everything don't have to be aesthetically correct and all of that. Like, listen, man, you have to, you know, when they got the dolly shot, you know, that's a famous shot that they use, right?
Yeah.
Do you think that you gotta have $100,000 equipment to do that? Nah, you know, there's a hack to that. You could put a person in a shopping cart and get a dolly shot, and it look exactly the same as the Hollywood version. You know what I mean? So it's just you got to learn the tricks of the trade, man.
A prime example, when they make our movies, right? It's somebody in there that's going to be from the LGBT.
Oh yeah,
I'm just
yeah.
saying, it's going to be some random person there.
Yeah, it's definitely going to be a gender in there.
Yeah.
And you know what's so sad though, right? You know what's so sad, right? And I know we living in a world that they want everything to be diversified and this, that, and the other. And listen, the LGBT community, that's a real thing that exists, right?
Yeah.
And if it's gonna be in a film, let it be natural.
Let it be natural.
Everybody got someone that's a part of the LGBT community in their family. I know I do, and I love them to death. You know what I mean?
Same here,
I don't really support a lot of the stuff that particular movement do, but my family members, I support them, and I never disrespect them.
Exactly.
But let it be natural.
Let it be natural.
Don't let it be a gunfight, right? And then you transition to two men laying in the bed. How that happen?
Yeah.
How that happen? Nah, we're not doing that one. Like, yo, that it's not natural. And then that's when people see that, okay, now you're trying to push the agenda.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? So if it's in a film, you know what I mean? Like I said, let it be natural. And then my main thing, the kids, you know what I mean? Like with the cartoons, and you know what I mean? Like, come on, man. Tom and Jerry was Tom and Jerry, you know what I mean? Like Mickey Mouse was Mickey Mouse. Like now it's just like, yo, with the cartoons now, like, bro, y'all definitely on the agenda thing.
Yo, the cartoons, me and my daughter, we were a Proud Family, right?
I think I heard that that's one of them that's really pushing it hard.
Bro, Proud Family. Okay, so me and her watching Proud Family, right? Basically, the dad is goofy. He can't get anything right. Whatever. I don't like the depiction of the father in there, because they make him like stupid and dumb, you know, like he can never get anything right, can't even provide for his family, whatever. But anyway, so the girls, Penny Proud, they was taking a picture, and Penny Proud was like, "Oh, I'm gonna upload this on Black Twitter." Then they had the white girl say, "Oh, I'm gonna upload this on white Twitter." Then they had the Latino girl say, "Oh, I'm gonna upload this on Twitter," you know. And then they had the LGBT say, "I'm gonna load this on LGBT Twitter." And I was just like, y'all trying too hard to please everybody. Proud Family was focused on a Black family.
Yeah.
So why didn't it just stay like that? Like,
you know what?
Trying too hard.
Twitter has always been Twitter, right? we came in and said, you know what? Black Twitter. No other group, ethnic, nationality ever came in and said anything. We have Black Twitter. There's Twitter, then there's Black Twitter. So to come in and try to crowbar your way into things, like us as Black people, we got to start calling that out. You know what I mean? Like, no, it's Twitter, then it's Black Twitter. There ain't nobody else. You know, and that's why I said when I said earlier that Black culture is the only one that moved the needle. You know what I mean? For instance, right? They had, I think it was Biden or somebody went to go speak at a church in the South, if I'm not mistaken. And you had individuals from Free Palestine come in there and interrupt it. You know, you really got to realize, right, that you're not disrespecting Biden. You're disrespecting that Black church. You know what I mean? And they was trying to, you know, in the beginning, they was trying to force Black people to be allies, you know what I mean, to their cause. You know, first of all, Black people are human people. You know what I mean? We don't respect and like to see kids being killed. You know what I mean? So naturally, we're going to be an ally with you and against that, right? But to demand that we be an ally, I know some of y'all might have seen that online. And when I was looking at some of the things they were saying, right? They were saying no ceasefire, no vote, right? Black people, what we say, no tangibles, no vote. So it's just like, yo, they just take everything we do and just try to remix it. You know what I mean?
Remix.
And some people, they might not see that as a problem, but in years from now, it will be a problem because we will not be the originator of that. You have people that are revisionists, you know what I mean? And we'll be cut out of history. And then the next thing you know, they're talking about they started the civil rights movement. You already got individuals saying they started hip hop. And
exactly.
It just get crazier and crazier, man.
Dude, I want to get your reaction on this clip right here.
Okay.
You know.
Oh man, I posted this. Oh, y'all got that from my page.
Yeah.
Oh man, this dude here. Yo, what did I write? Can you pull up the caption?
Whose man's is this?
Oh yeah, whose man's is this? Yo, where's this at?
I know. Like,
Yeah, I don't even know, man. Let me tell you,
like, what's going on, bro?
Let me tell you what be happening with me, right? I get censored so much on social media, right? People send me stuff, and someone sent me that particular clip, right? And I was like, yo, what is this dude doing, man? Like, around these white folks like that, with that stick coming down. So, yeah, listen, man. You know. Oh, yeah? Yeah. But it's just like, you know how back in the days you was younger and it was like your parents really didn't want you to act out, like it was an embarrassment to them. Like you acting out, you know you getting home, you gonna get tore up.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like that's the feeling I have. Like, yo, why you doing this? You know what I mean? Like, yo, you making us look crazy. And I don't like that. What's that big dude? He named himself Monkey something.
Oh,
Dude that be dancing with the chicken and eating around.
Oh, yeah, man, that dude. Yo, come on, man.
Like cooning and
modern day minstrel show.
And grinning and all that. Yeah, we listen. We leaving that in 2023. We ain't bringing that in 2024. That's not a part of a Black family movement. Like, we got to leave that alone.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, but I can't tell you.
I know.
But yo, where they at though? It looked like they at an exhibit, like a museum. Or something.
Yeah, something like that, man.
Like an expo or something. Yeah.
Yeah. It's like, so I don't know. Like.
Yo, you ever see that dude though that be screaming? Whose man's is this?
Oh yeah, I do. Yeah.
So that's why I captured it. I don't know what dude is.
I don't
but
blame you,
look,
man.
look at the man right here with the phone out.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? So you know what
He's
this tells me?
recording him.
This tells me, right? I forget who it was that say it, but I always quote it, right? Give them bread and circus, and they never revolt.
Yo, that was from that was from like Italian dude, right? Yeah.
Give
bro.
them bread,
Give them
and circus, and they'll never revolt. You know what the bread is, right?
Yep.
The bread is money. We call it when we like, yo, give me that bread, let me get that dough. That's money. So you give them money and entertainment, and they'll never revolt. You know what I mean? I love money. I love entertainment. You know what I mean? I think we need to have that. Entertainment is an art form. We can express a lot of things through an art form. I know for a fact that entertainment such as rap music has been a saving grace to our people and provided people with jobs and kept them out of the streets, right? But you still got to have the humanity. You still got to have the love and and want to see the suffering for your people to stop. You know what I mean? You can't just, because it's money. All money ain't good money, man.
Exactly.
And, you know, and who are you entertaining, you know? So yeah, man, that's what that is, man. Give them bread and entertainment, and they never revolt, man. He's not revolting from white people. I'm telling you that right now, and that goes back when I tell you we can't save everybody. We're not saving him. And the thing about it is, Frederick Douglass, right? What did he say? I'd rather teach and train children than to something of grown people.
Yeah,
like, you know, exactly, at a certain age.
At a certain age.
You know what I mean? If you ain't get it by now, it's over with. You know what I mean?
What would be that certain age? Like, where we be like, it's not like, what you think?
And you know what? I don't want to really put an age on it. I think it's like a mentality. How far deep are you into, you know, just being a goddamn coon? You know what I mean? Because listen, right? I don't want to throw nobody away. You know what I mean? Because everybody has a past. You know what I mean? What if they threw Detroit Red away? We wouldn't have a Malcolm X.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
Malcolm X.
So, you know, everybody has redeeming qualities, and he might, you know what I mean? I don't know what it's going to take, but if somebody, you know what I mean, can work with him, listen, man, he might be the next grandmaster teacher. You know what I mean? But it's going to take a lot of work, and I ain't got the time or the patience for that one. So what I would do is I'll go and take the young. You know what I mean? Because, listen, growing up, right, and this is what really changed my life, right? Me, in my darkest moments, sitting in a cell, reading the philosophy and opinions of Marcus Garvey, right? He said, intelligence rules the world and ignorance carries the burden. You know what I mean? I'm like, shit, I'm intelligent. I'm going to rule the world. You know what I mean? I'm not ignorant. You know what I mean? And I don't want to carry the burden of my people. You know what I mean? And in fact, I want to help my people get out of this burden. You know what I mean? So that's what made me a freedom fighter and who I am. You know?
Shout out to Marcus Garvey, man.
Yeah, man. Shout out to Marcus Garvey, man. I love Marcus Garvey, man. Yo, listen, I listen to, and they got speeches.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? There hasn't been a movement as big as the Garvey movement. You know what I mean? That's why you asked me last time about Umar. The last time I seen him was at Marcus Garvey celebration here in Atlanta.
Garveyites?
They had the Garveyite. They actually have an organization here. One of my friends, Kenwado, and my man Knowledge, they're a part of that. Shout out to them brothers. But they have the Garveyite organization here in Atlanta.
Cool.
Yeah. But what's next film-wise? What's your next film?
As far as film right now, I'm not personally doing any film. What I'm doing is helping people create the magic that I had. You know what I mean? Other people that's trying to do it, I'm helping them out with doing that. But I do have 2 projects. I have one project is a book that's called Radical Hope in the 21st Century. I'm never gonna give another release date because those dates never happen, right? And I'm just gonna say you can't rush greatness. You know what I mean? The book is done already. It's done. You know what I mean? It's just I gotta strategically strategize how I'm gonna market and promote it, whether it's gonna be self-published, you know, or whether I'm gonna go with a publisher. I think I'm going to self-publish it because I really don't want to go with a publisher. But if I can get a mainstream publisher that's not gonna want any changes, because this is my authentic voice, you know, I might weigh and judge that. You know, I would like a 6-figure check. You know, so that's one thing I'm doing, and then I have an ebook that I'm getting ready to put out, and that should be in probably another 2 weeks.
Okay.
You know, because I've been telling everybody I got this book coming out, and I haven't released it yet. So I'm gonna go ahead and put the ebook out first, and then the one Radical Hope in the 21st Century, that will follow that. And the cover for that book, you'll see me, Washington D.C. crowd of 5,000 to 7,000 people I'm speaking to, and that's at the reparation rally that I was telling you about earlier. So that iconic photo, it caught me with my hand in the air. I was going, Black Power, Black Power. And that is the cover for that book. You know, so I'm really excited about that book. Thank you.
Yeah, man, keep being you, man. Keep inspiring, keep motivating, keep reaching back to the youth. And I just appreciate you. Keep telling your story, man. You're inspirational.
All right, man. I just want to say, you know, this is my first time, man. Hopefully, ain't my last time. I love to come back up here, man, and you know, kick it with you. And I'm definitely gonna get y'all some merch as well as some DVDs.
Are these the documentaries, correct?
Yeah, those are all 3 of them right there. Yep.
How can people tap in with you? Because you said that you're working with people who getting a vision out or whatever.
Okay, yeah. Social media. No one runs my social media site. Everything is at Rahiem Shabazz. You're interested in getting a documentary, you can go on elementarygenocide.com. You also can go on Amazon. You can stream it on Quality TV. Quality TV. Shout out to the sister. Her name is Deshauna. We call it the Black Netflix. You know what I mean? And it's a Black-owned streaming service. Sister out of the DC area. So I prefer you go streaming on there as opposed to Amazon. Because like we said, you know, we want to keep the money in the Black community. And that's pretty much it, man.
You know, I want to close out this show, man, with the whole theme. As we are immense in 2024, and as we go further, what will the Black family household do? We presented options, we presented perspectives and ideas, but it's up to you to meditate over them. Figure out which way works, which wave you could surf towards your success, how you could garnish your foolish potential and access the greatness that's inside of you. Take these discussions and these viewpoints that we have talked about and use them to motivate you. Use them to accelerate you. Use them to elevate you. And remember, the strength is in unity. Look towards your brother and see your reflection. Y'all may have differences, different of ideas, but if you can relate on a common goal and build upon that, build your own house of friendship, then you just have an ally in your life, an ally, a friend that's here to help you on your mission, and you help them as well on their mission. Because as we go further in 2024, it's all about positivity. It's all about unity. Black man and Black woman, the strength is inside of you. You already are sun-kissed by the sun. You have already been blessed by the sun's power. You already have a natural connection with Source, no matter what any belief or religion you're in or calling. All you have to do is acknowledge it and seize it and believe it and go further and triumph in success and acknowledge your own might. And if you was inspired, then subscribe to The Vibe. Check out this episode, Rahiem Shabazz, Director Huey G, Yale Radiocast, and comment down below how you feel inside. And make sure that you realize that you are the prize. Hey, let's get it.
Let's get it.
Yo, I like that. I like that, man.
Radio.